So what have plans for the FIA to promote the World Rallycross, Robert Reid's resignation from the FIA, Formula 1 commercial rights, the European Commission, what have they all got in common? Let me explain how all of them are linked. Now, Robert Reid has added to his resignation from the FIA just a few weeks ago, and one of the things that he is said to be very uncomfortable with and very unhappy about is the collision course that the FIA and the European Commission are currently on with regards to the rights around World Rallycross. Now, if they lose this, the FIA could lose a boatload of money. We are talking a shed load of cash here. But to fully understand this, we've got to go all the way back to 2000. Now, during 2000, the European Commission opened an antitrust investigation into the FIA's control over Formula 1's commercial rights. At that time, the European Commission argued that it hindered the sport and it also created a monopoly. At that point, the rights were held by the FIA and they were released to the Formula 1 Constructors Association. Now, in the spring of 2000, the FIA and the European Union reached a settlement that included significant changes to the FIA rules and their commercial arrangements in general, not just for Formula 1. Now, the agreement also stipulated that the FIA would relinquish its commercial role in Formula 1 and they would focus on their role of being a regulator only. As part of this deal, the commercial rights for Formula 1 were then packaged into this deal and they were then sold for $300 million. This deal is a 100-year deal and it ultimately ended up with Liberty Media, of course, after their Formula 1 takeover. This then led to the EU closing the case in 2001. Now, you may, of course, be wondering what on earth this got to do with rally and what on earth is it got to do with modern-day Formula 1 and politics. While the FIA recently announced that they had plans to operate the World and European Rallycross, the statement says that they will own and operate these championships with the help of a service provider. That means they will be the commercial provider as well as a regulatory body on this sport. Now, whilst this sounds okay, the FIA back in 2001 said that they would commit themselves and limit themselves to a non-commercial regulatory role in Formula 1 and other four-wheel motorsports. Many seeing this as a way of testing the European Commission to get around the restrictions that were put in place back, of course, in 2001, and of course will allow the FIA to cash in on the commercial rights for rally, which, as we know, commercial rights are more lucrative for the FIA. This would also therefore decrease the FIA's reliance on the money they get from Formula 1, which is currently their main source of income. The issue for the FIA is that if the EU Commission reacts to this, there will be a massive legal battle that will no doubt be lengthy and will no doubt be costly for the FIA, which most likely, let's be honest about it, if you look at what they agreed to do, the FIA will probably lose that case and worse, open themselves up to another investigation. Now, Robert Reid is one of the World Motorsport Council who feel that this is completely reckless and uncalled for, and it's only going to end in one way, which is a great cost to the FIA, and therefore is another reason for his resignation. Why are the FIA keen to do this, you may ask yourself? Well, if it does happen to work and the European Commission doesn't take any action, then of course it sets a precedent for the FIA, which will then lead to them seeing if they can find a way to end that 100-year Formula 1 management agreement and grab those commercial rights back to the FIA, which would mean that they would then be in a lucrative position of being able to cash in on the Formula 1 boon that the teams and of course Liberty Media currently have, because they would be the commercial rights holder once again for Formula 1. Let me know your thoughts on this one, but one thing is for sure, the European Commission and the FIA look on a collision course if they agree to this World Rally Motorsport takeover that was proposed back in March.